Violence is a part of bullying. So how are you going to deal with it? You can't just run from it. You come to an event where there's a Ray Mercer talking, and he's a professional boxer, Olympic gold medalist and everything. But you don't expect him to talk about how you defend yourself?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is while you're listening to this podcast. This is the Freedom Club podcast, and I am your host, Curt Mercadante, and I am grateful as hell that you are here with me and thousands of other listeners around the globe sharing some time. And if just one of those 1,000 listeners I can help with this episode to live a life of freedom and fulfillment, give a little push, give some inspiration, give some motivation, then I will have done my job. And if you like what you hear today, if you've listened to numerous episodes and you like what you have heard along the way, please give us a positive rating and review, especially on iTunes. Those rating and reviews are like currency to us. I've said it before, and thank you to those who have done that. There is no fee to listen to this podcast. It's part of the thousands of posts and pieces of content I put out that are absolutely free because my mission is to save the world by helping individuals fight for lives of freedom and fulfillment because, my friends, I truly believe deep inside that the world is doomed unless we awaken superheroes within each of you. Each of you has unique superpowers, and when you start unleashing them and living your vision, you are saving the world around you. So thank you so much for being here. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for our interview segment, and today, my goodness, we got a good one for you. Well, it's a week ago, about a week and a half ago, I met today's guest at a fundraiser for the Hurricane Boxing Foundation. Now, if you listen to this podcast regularly, you know that me and 3 of my kids, we box at Hurricane Boxing Gym. That the boxing family over there has become part of our family. It's such a huge piece of our life, not just for our physical health, but just for the sense of community. And Coach Michael Galimas, who was on this podcast, has done so much for the local community, but they've expanded their mission. The Hurricane Boxing Foundation a year ago went down to Liberia. They're bringing a boxing culture to these kids in Liberia, a country that has been torn apart by civil war. Now you may ask, how does bringing a boxing culture help them? Well, it's giving them something to shoot for, the discipline, the self-respect, getting out of bed in the morning, going for a run, learning a new skill. It is so important to them. But it's not only in Liberia. The Hurricane Boxing Foundation is doing incredible work right here in the Charleston region throughout South Carolina. And we had a fundraiser a couple weeks ago. I was blessed and honored to serve as the ring announcer for an 18-bout boxing show. But the special guest there was Ray Mercer. He's a U.S. Olympic gold medalist, former U.S. All-Army champ, and he's the former world heavyweight boxing champ. He's fought the likes of, I don't know if you remember Tommy Morrison, beat Tommy Morrison. He's fought Larry Holmes, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. We talk about some of those fights. According to Ray, Lennox even admits that Ray had beat him, but lost in a decision. We talk about boxing. We talk about bullying, the best way to overcome bullying. We talk about overcoming fear. And yes, we talk about his boxing career. So it's a very special interview. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And we do talk about the Hurricane Boxing Foundation. It is such a wonderful, not only a wonderful cause, but it's a part of our family's life. And I'm just blessed to know the folks who are really doing the hard work there. And thank you to Ray Mercer for coming down. And as you hear at the end of this interview, he says he's in it for the long haul to support that foundation. Anyways, without further ado, here's my interview with former world heavyweight boxing champ, Merciless Ray Mercer.
Welcome to the Freedom Club podcast, where we strive to pull you out of your life of quiet desperation, out of your comfort zone of misery, and propel you into a life of freedom and fulfillment. And now, here's your host for this journey, international speaker and coach, and serial entrepreneur, Curt Mercadante.
All right, well, I am here with former world heavyweight champ, U.S. gold medalist, U.S. All-Army champion, Ray Mercer. Ray, thanks so much for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure being here. I'm honored.
And Ray and I met last week. He was in town to help a cause that's near and dear to my heart, and now his, the Hurricane Boxing Foundation, which is done through my boxing gym. And they do some great work. A year ago, they went down to Liberia. They're bringing a boxing culture there to help teach the kids discipline, respect, and doing some things here in the Charleston, South Carolina area. And it was a pleasure to meet you last week, Ray.
Oh man, the pleasure was all mine. I had a ball. The whole thing was just great. I mean, you know, I've never been put on the spotlight like that. You know, being able to talk to a crowd, but I was honored, man, and it made me feel real good. And you know, it was important to other people too, just to hear what I had to say. And as far as that's important. You know, that just blows me out the water right there. Just people wanting to listen to me and listen to my experiences and everything. So, and it sort of like brings back, you know, memories, you know. So
yeah,
it was all great. It was great. The people was great. The kids was great. Everything was good.
You know, two things that you brought up last week that really stuck with me, and my daughter, who you had met, you know, she was there in the audience. One was about fear, and about, you know, you admitted that when you went to Seoul, South Korea for the Olympics, and you had fear, but you used fear to push you forward, and you said fear is a boxer's best friend. How were you able to use fear? There's some people who get so scared that fear paralyzes them and they're unable to move forward, but you used it as fuel and energy to keep you going. How were you able to do that?
Well, I'm not like talking like fear, like you're in a, well, I guess so. If you're in a, you know, fear of losing, fear of failing, fear of not, you know, or getting your butt whooped, any, you know, in all categories. I mean, just fearing getting, you know, getting beat up or punished in some kind of way or talked about or whatever. You have to take that energy, you know, before that, you have to take that and feed off that. That is what makes you scared of losing, is what you fear off of to make you train or make you fight harder. You know, if you can understand what I'm saying. You know, it's kind of, I've been through it, so it's easier for me to understand than probably most people, especially kids. But, you know, that's kind of the best way that I can really explain it. You know,
it's interesting.
Yeah, because if you don't have, it's like this. If you don't have fear in life, period, of doing anything, then you'll never be successful in anything. You know, to take it a little further, you know, fear is going to make you prepare for life, prepare for school. You know, the thought of failing is going to make, the fear of failing is going to make you study. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
The fear in competition, dance competitions, the fear of losing will make you practice and will make you work your mind where it needs to be successful. That's sort of like what I mean when I say you can turn fear into a positive thing.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Tell me, did you ever, and I've only sparred a few times, and it's different. It's easy to get scared in there when someone's coming at you and the bell rings. Was there ever a time where you were in the middle of a fight, and in the middle of the fight, you felt fear?
No. no, not during a fight. I think the way I'm using fear is sort of like before the fight. I got time to prepare for a fight. You know what I mean? So my fear is that in the gym, get my butt, you know, whooped or losing that fight makes me train hard. It makes me run that extra mile, makes me hit that bag the extra couple of rounds. You know, that might make me victorious in my fight.
Sure.
So, you know, it's going to, you know, be looking at it that way. That's how I dealt with it. But I guess in a situation like that, you can use, I mean, like if you're in a fight and you just, you know, somebody's coming at you and you just, I guess fear would make you do something. You know, fear will make you either run or it's going to make you either stand there and fight. You know, the fear of getting your butt whooped, and then the fear of you running away and people talking about you is going to make you sit there and fight. You know. So.
Another thing that you spoke about was the work that you do with kids around the country in terms of bullying. And you mentioned, you know, the number of kids that unfortunately take their lives. And one thing you said was, you know, if you're being bullied, talk to people about it. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. But on the other hand, you talked about the importance of, learning to defend yourself and sticking up for yourself. I think that first part about talking to people is talked about a lot, but in our society, the second part about learning to stand up for yourself and defend yourself and fight back if necessary. A lot of people don't want to talk about that in this day and age.
They really don't, but it's reality, and it's a sad part of our days. But you have to talk about it. When you have 200 kids a year taking their lives because they're being bullied, just think about if it was your kid. You know what I mean? This would be something, that I want. If my kid was being bullied, I want him to hear the things that's going on in the kicking and our programs and everything, about bullying. Because I want them to either defend themselves or just, I'd let them talk to me before they go take their lives. And they take their lives, then you wish they would have came to you and just talked to you. So you have to talk to your kids and parents that try to teach their kids, no violence and all that. We don't live in that society anymore. Or probably never have, where, kids are, wasn't getting bullied. They're getting bullied, Facebook, everything. They're getting bullied in all kind of ways, man. And we need to talk to our kids and let them know how to deal with it. That's what I think. I think that's one of the best ways to really deal with it. But then those ways don't always work, and all bullying situations are different. Sometimes they're violent. Sometimes they're vocal. You just have to know what to do with, when you get the violence. I would say take a class, and that's where the rough part, where parents really don't want to hear. Parents really don't want to hear, teach their kids like violence, but I'm teaching them, trying to show them there's other ways to protect yourself and to learn how to protect yourself than just go out and just fight. You can get in like a boxing gym. Right. Or you can get in a mixed martial arts gym, anything that's going to get you in shape to teach you how to defend yourself. Self-defense classes, they have those, So, the violence is a part of bullying. So how are you going to deal with it? You can't just run from it. And like parents just pick up and they just leave when they hear, what people have to say about, bullying. They're not really, the kids are going to keep getting bullied because they're not learning how to protect themselves. I think if you come to a boxing event and you come to an event where there's a Ray Mercer talking and he's a professional boxer, Olympic gold medalist and everything, you don't expect him to talk about how you defend yourself and how you can join programs, and all that stuff to get into, to defend yourself. And I really don't understand. I don't understand why they even come, to tell the truth. The kids was interested. They was really interested because they're the ones getting bullied. The parents are going to work. They're not getting bullied. They're probably not talking to their kids or anything. And they really need to sit down and figure out a way to do it. Grow up here or something. I don't know. Parents need to do something. We need to start talking to our kids.
So Coach Mike, who runs Hurricane Boxing, the reason his mom got him involved was because he got his butt kicked when he was like 9 or 10 or maybe 8 years old. And she said, you got to learn how to defend yourself. And when I was a kid, I was fat, and I had kids bully me. I remember I hit a kid across the face with a lunchbox because he tried to hit me and push me after call. And my mom didn't yell at me. She said, you got to stick up for yourself. You got to defend yourself. Now, she was mad. She thought we were going to get sued, but.
Yeah. That's nothing, though. But you didn't get bullied anymore, did you?
Nope. Not at all.
See, that's the whole thing. I think it's worth getting in trouble one time. You don't try to kill anybody or anything, but just smack them, just stand up to them one time. And I think that would be it. That would be it. I'm telling you. Yeah. I've never bullied anybody. I've never been bullied. I'm a military brat. We really put with, stuff like that. It happens, but I was fortunate enough not to get bullied. And I never thought about bullying anybody. So, I can't talk from experience like you can, but I know and I've seen, what it is.
Yeah.
So It's just the way you just got to do it. Just like your mom said, man. Just like your mom said. How mostly black parents are too. They tell their kids you better get out there and fight back and all this and all that. And that's what you got to tell your kids nowadays. Fight back. You know.
Well, you mentioned your childhood. So you were born in Jacksonville, but you flew around a lot because your dad was in the military, right?
Yeah, I was in Jacksonville, born in Jacksonville, Florida. I was there till I was 6. Then we moved to North Carolina, then for a couple of years, and then we moved to Fort Benning, Georgia. And then from there we went to Germany, and I went to high school in Germany.
Wow.
So then I got out of high school and joined the Army and went back to Germany twice. So it was nice. And I was boxing the whole time.
Yeah, and you didn't take it up until you were in the Army, till you were in your mid-20s?
I was 23 years old. I was in the Army for 2 years. And I just got stationed over in Germany. And the guy asked me to be a sparring partner. And that's what got it all started.
Wow. Yeah, and you know, you start competing against people that probably been boxing since they were 12, right?
Yeah, exactly. And those guys, you know, they're tough and all that, but I think I had an advantage because I realized, you know, you get hit in the head. One thing, if you're older, you know you're getting hit in the head, it's not going to be good. And then, you know, you take the training, you take life a little more serious. You know, you realize that you know, this is a serious game, and you realize you can go places. When you're young, teenagers and all that, I think to tell the truth, get hit in the head, like from experience, seeing like Kelsey Banks, who was boxing since he was like 12 or 9 or something like that. You know, to see how they talk now and how much brain damage that they have suffered, you know, because they started boxing at such a young age. I also like to tell, you know, parents that too about the boxing with the young age, you know, but it don't happen with everybody. But I've seen it happen to like Kelsey Banks. He started young. He had over 300 amateur fights.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's real. You know, you barely understand him a little bit, but he's all right. But you know, you can see that he suffered a little damage, you know, from boxing.
And you had over 70. You had exactly 70 amateur fights?
My amateur record was 86-6.
Wow.
That's in 5 years. That's from the time I put on a pair of gloves till winning a gold medal.
How was that experience in the Olympics? I mean, you mentioned being scared at going over there. What was it? Do they kind of put you in a bubble, or do you get to experience the different cultures over there?
No, you get to go around. You get to experience all the cultures. You're right there with everybody, the whole world. It's your neighbor. You know, so we got to experience that, man, and it's special. Everybody, you know, all the athletes around the world was, you know, it was an honor seeing everybody, all the other athletes, you know, there. You know, just being in the Olympics period for me was just awesome. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep much. When I did have my time off, I walked around the town, bought a couple of things. You know, it was nice. It was nice. Never forget it.
And you ended up having to, of course, with the Roy Jones fight was controversial because he fought a South Korean. You had to fight a South Korean to win the gold.
Yeah, I fought the South Korean to win in the finals to win the gold. A day before Roy Jones. Wow. So I got mine first. But I definitely knew that I had to knock the Korean out. Yeah, you had to knock him out to win over there. And if you don't know that, then if you know about Roy Jones' experience, then you'll know why I say what I say.
And you knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah, I had to get him. I was going out there. I don't even think I threw a name punch. I was just trying to hit him. I was doing a Dante Wilder down there. I was just trying to hit him. I didn't look like I was boxing at all. But yeah, I was strong and everything, man. I just wanted that gold medal. They would have knocked me straight out for that. Wow.
What? So you turned pro. You just kept winning fights, and And then you took the WBO title from an Italian, right? Damiani?
Yes, Francisco Damiani.
Wow.
I threw that punch that they say a lucky punch. But then in boxing, they say the punch, if you threw it, then you meant for it to cause damage. So I threw a punch. I called it like a lucky punch, but it was a punch that I practice all the time when I'm not even in a fight. I don't even throw it at the fight, but it's an up jab. And I hit him, and he was leaning on me, and the next thing you know, he's falling. I'm like, whoa. Now, he was beating me the whole 9 rounds, the whole fight. Every round, I was losing. He was outboxing me. He was a southpaw. He was outboxing me. I didn't know how to deal with it. It was crazy. I just went out there and threw. I knew I was going to get him. I kept going back to the corner and said, I know I'm going to get him. I kept telling my trainers that every round I'm getting beat, I know I'm going to get him, no matter what they said. And I went out there and threw that punch, and wow, that was it.
Wow.
That was it.
How did that feel, the heavyweight champ?
It felt great. It felt great. It felt good, but I think being the gold medalist took a little bit away from that.
Really?
It really did. It really did. Nothing can compare to I never feel like I felt then. I didn't have that feeling that I had when I was winning the gold, that I won the gold. I didn't feel like you had a whole country behind you.
Yeah.
You know, that's total different feelings. You know.
That's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
and then of course, and it's even on your business card, the fight where you pounded Tommy Morrison.
Oh yeah, that fight. That fight was a big fight for us, for him too, because he was undefeated, and you know, not to say it, but he was like the great white hope. That's how they was building him up, you know. And me being who I am, I have to deal with that. And you know, I beat him when we was in the amateurs, and I beat him in the box off of the trials.
Oh, okay.
I beat him. Yeah, it was real easy, you know, to beat him there and just boxed him. And I know he had got stronger in the pros or whatnot. He had everybody behind him. We had a strategy. We just said the night, 2 nights before the fight, we had the weigh-ins, and we had the weigh-ins at Times Square in New York, outside. And I had a guy with me. He was my friend stationed with me over in Germany. He was in the Army. His name was O.D. Wilson. He won the strongest man in the world contest twice. And he seen when Tommy Morrison took off his shirt, he seen that he had he was using oil-based steroids because he had blackheads all over his back.
Interesting.
You know, yeah. So we actually changed the plan. I changed the plan, and my friend, we changed our plan. We trained for I don't know how many weeks, months for this fight. All that went out the window when he told me all you have to do is make him work for 5 rounds. 5 rounds, he's going to be tired. That's what he told me. So I went in there and made him work for 5 rounds. He was strong and everything. Probably it was a good thing I made him work, you know, to make him work and, you know, to protect myself. But he was strong.
Interesting.
You know, so that plan turned out to be good. At the end of the 3rd round, he was breathing hard. He wasn't throwing his punches. And he was breathing hard in my ear. And that was the bell right there. And that's when I started working, and I caught him. I caught him good. I caught him. Then the next round, that was it. Whew.
Yeah. Had he already been in the Rocky movie already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's funny because when after last week I came home and the next morning after I met you, I put on the your highlight tape for my kids. And we were watching it, and it showed just you landing punch after punch on Tommy Morrison, and my son was like, "Wait, that's Tommy Gunn from the Rocky movie." I'm like, "Yep, Ray beat him."
Yeah. Sure enough. I don't know if that movie did it come out before, because I fought him in '91. I think that movie came out before then.
Before then, yeah, because he wasn't much of a name when it came out, I don't think.
Yeah, he was just outside the box thing. Yeah, that's how it was. But it was great times too, you know. And before he died, he invited me. He had a gym opening in Oklahoma or Missouri. He invited me out there, so I got a chance to see him, you know, before he passed.
Yeah.
You know, so we saying that, meaning, you know, we were friends. You know, once you're in the ring boxing, it's like a business. And again, every boxer after a fight, I don't care how much noise or how many fights you had before you fight in the ring, after you fight that guy, he's been hitting on you and you hitting on him, both of you guys get a different kind of respect for each other, both fighters. So that's why you hear all fighters hug and all that after the fight, Yeah, that's because they have respect for, you got to have respect for a guy who took punches from you and you got to take punches from him. Total respect for the guy. So, yeah.
Well, and, someone that you fought that was, I guess some people wondered why you did it instead of taking the mandatory challenge. Instead of doing the mandatory challenge, you went and fought Larry Holmes.
Yes, I did. The reason being is it goes back to that first, when I first won the title, when I fought Francisco Damiani.
Yeah.
And he just totally shut me down because he was a southpaw.
Yeah.
And I couldn't use my jab. And Michael Moore was a southpaw.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the reason, because my jab was my best punch. I feel like I got one hand without my jab. So and then I had my management was messed up. They was, parting and all that. So I was on one side. And, one guy wanted me to fight Larry Holmes. The guy with the money wanted me to fight Larry Holmes. The manager who was messing up, that when he got the guy, he wanted me to fight, keep my title, which I should have probably done. I should have done that. But he brought this guy in, and the guy they totally messed up everything. So, it wasn't just me with that,
Yeah. Was that a big money fight, you and Larry?
No, I think I got like $1.5 million for that fight. It wasn't much. Had
you grown up watching Larry? Was that
Oh, yeah.
That had to be cool to fight him.
Oh, yeah. You know what? So it's a double-edged sword, because you like the guy, he's your idol. Then you got to get in here and beat him up. I mean, it plays on you. It really does. It plays on you, because it played on me when he started goofing around and playing around. It totally took me out of my game. That's what he did. He was talking to his wife in the crowd, when I wasn't close to him. He was messing with me. So, it worked, It worked. But if I lose my first loss, I wouldn't lost to Larry Holmes. I wasn't ashamed or anything.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was my idol.
Yeah, and you went on. I mean, you fought some. It was almost like they had to fight you if they wanted the title. Lennox Lewis. You fought Evander Holyfield, Larry Holmes. I mean, and Lennox. A lot of people, including, I think you've said that Lennox has said that you actually won that fight.
Yeah, he told me that a couple of times. His on TV, he said I was his toughest fight. Manuel Stewart admitted that I won the fight too before he died. So, that came out later on. But yeah, they said I was the toughest fight. And, Lennox Lewis told me I won that fight. He told me himself in my ear that I won that fight. We was in Florida. And at the same time, Klitschko said I was a tough mug. He said I was a tough mug too. He hugged me around the neck. You know how that fight went. Hugged me around the neck and said, "Man, you're a tough fighter. I felt like I was a gatekeeper. Like you said, if you got past me, you get a title shot. That's how it was. Everybody that fought to beat me, they all wanted to get a title shot. So
and you kept fighting. When you fought Klitschko, you were 39, but you kept fighting well into your 40s. I mean, not to mention the kickboxing and the mixed martial arts, which is that's something. That's one of the most entertaining 9 seconds I'll ever watch. But I mean, you kept fighting to what was it? What's it like to get in the ring at 45 versus 25?
Oh man, it's a big difference. I tell you, the win is not the same, but same time your experience will carry you sometimes. You don't have to. You might not be physically in shape enough, to fight them young guys, but your mind and your experience can carry you it can carry you. And that's what it was doing to me. I just used what I learned, being smarter than, the young bull, like the old bull and the young bull. That's how it is, So that's what I thought, And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Half and half. I'm 1-1 when it comes to UFC.
Yeah, and I urge anyone listening to this to Google this fight, Ray Mercer, Tim Sylvia, and Sylvia was the former UFC champ. But 9 seconds, and you knocked him cold.
Oh, yeah, one shot, he was out. One shot and a hammer fist. And he was out. I would have been still hammer fisting him if the referee wouldn't have pulled me off. I'm the type of guy I fight. The guys I've heard them say that, tell their coach if they get caught up, if they fight me, if they get caught up in the ropes, to throw the towel in. Because they know I'm not going to stop. After the Tommy Morrison thing and the knock the guys out the ring and all that stuff.
Yeah. Who was that you knocked clear out of the ring, like over the table?
That was Don Steele. That was Don Steele. And I knocked the guy fought before that. Jeff Pequise, I knocked him out too. I skipped and punched him. That's when I showed them how I skipped. And I connected and I hit him with that one. So I knocked 2 of them out the ring at the same time. Yeah.
And why did you only stick to one UFC fight?
No, I had 2.
Kimbo. You were Kimbo too, or you kind of?
I was Kimbo's first fight.
Got it. Yeah, that's right.
So that was the first one. I tapped out on that one because he had grabbed I rolled under his arm and clamped down, and that was it. It was time to tap. But I felt like I was out of my element, and I thought he was gonna box and fight, like you do on the street, but he came and took me down. So they pushed me off,
How did you find it after a loss? What worked for you in terms of getting you back up and saying, all right, I'm going to go back out there again and fight someone else? And I'm going to, how were you able to bounce back from losses?
It's not hard. I mean, you know what? A check helps it a whole lot. Because when you win, lose, or draw, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
So that eases the pain. It makes it like it's a job. And when you lose, it's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Long as you're getting paid, I mean, I never took anything really personal. I had never had any guy out there that, that I hated. I never had any of them. So, that's the mindset I was at.
Who is the hardest puncher you ever faced?
I'd have to say Leonard Lewis.
Yeah.
I have to say Leonard Lewis because he's a big. Well, look, I have to take that back. I got to say Burt Cooper.
Burt Cooper, okay.
Burt Cooper by far hit me. He caused more damage to me in the fight than anybody else ever. I had a busted blood vessel in my jaw. They say I look like Disney Gillespie, the guy who blows the trumpet.
Yeah.
How your jaw swell up. That's how my jaw looked. And I had a 18-stitch cut from the second round. Went 12 rounds with that, fighting Burt Cooper. We was in the emergency room in Atlantic City getting stitched up together.
Wow. And you beat him. That's how you got the NABF title, right?
Yes, that's how I got the NABF. That was fight of the year also. And I'm going to tell you, I spent 2 days in the hospital after that fight. Because I went home, I was dehydrated. And I'm going to tell you this. I can tell other fighters also, if you can avoid fighting your sparring partner, do so. Because that's who Burt Cooper was. He was my sparring partner for years. We knew each other in and out. So, fighting a guy that knows you like that you spar with, that's tough like that, I wouldn't recommend fighting him. I would say it's going to be a tough fight. If you go around it, I would go around it. Because the guy knows you. He knows you. You know him, it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough fight.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. My sparring partner, boy, I learned a lesson on that one. learned the lesson on that one. Sparring partners, no. That's why Larry Holmes probably beat Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a little older. You know, these guys come up beating these older guys. They use that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we already talked about your dad served in the Army. You served in the Army, and you have multiple children who are in the military right now, right?
No, I have two daughters that's in the reserves. They went to basic training, AIT, and they're in the reserves.
They're in the reserve. Okay, got it.
They're in the reserve. They follow my footsteps. I try to get my boys and all that they do. They don't want to do nothing.
Yeah, got it.
But they're doing okay without the military. You know, they're doing their own thing. You can't force everybody, to do what they,
Yeah.
So they're doing their thing, but everybody's doing well. So, I'm happy about that. And I'm proud of my daughters also.
Yeah, that's incredible. As you know, the name of the podcast is the Freedom Club Podcast, and I asked all my guests what the word freedom means to them, and some people, their answer is political, some it's financial, some it's what you've held the world heavyweight title, you've traveled the world, you've won an Olympic gold medal, you've served your country in the military. What does the word freedom mean to you?
Just that, being able to do everything that I've done, and being all that you can be, and being all you can be, being able to do whatever you want to do, man, is freedom to me. Freedom is kind of big. It's kind of big, and it means to me, it means freedom means being from the greatest country in the world, and being free is living like I'm living now. I mean, being free is being free. It mainly speaks for itself. Freedom, that's what it means to me. It's being free to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. That's freedom. And I think me and you are living that life.
Absolutely,
we are free.
Absolutely.
Well, we are free, and I thank the Lord, and I am blessed. We are blessed to live the life that we're living now. I think we're living a free life. So living like we're living now, the definition for me as being free, freedom.
Well, Ray, it's been an honor and a pleasure to not only meet you last week, but to spend time with you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh man, it's an honor, man. And we're not done. We're partners forever now. I'm going with you. I'm going with you guys on the trip and everything, man. I'm part of the foundation, which is great. Which is great, man. Teaching, teaching the kids, the Hurricane Boxing Foundation, teaching the kids how to respect people, how to respect themselves, how to achieve. I mean, that right there goes along with everything that we've been talking about, and the things that you guys do by going over there and showing them kids something that they've never seen or dreamed that they would ever see in their whole lives, and give them the joy that you guys gave, should warm every American's heart. Everybody's heart. My heart is warm. It was awesome. I want to thank you guys for that.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for coming down and helping and for the continued work. Like you said, it ain't over.
Okay. All right. I know it. We got more time, brother.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Ray.
All right. Okay, man.
All right. Take care.